e ngā iwi, e ngā maunga, e ngā awa, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou i tēnei whakapāhotanga o Taringa, e kōrero nei i nā āhuatanga ara o ngā riri ki tā wāhi ara te pakanga tuatahi me te pakanga tuarua, anei te rā whakamaharatanga, e tata mai nei te rā whakamaharatanga o ngā hōia. Nō reira tēnei te tangi, ki o tātou mate i hingai i runga i ngā marae o te riri ki tā wāhi, ki whenua rereke, ki iwi rereke, ki kōkei, rātou kāri hoki mai o tira, rātou i hoki mai me ngā riwha o aua pakanga, ngā riwha ki te tinana, ngā riwha ki te ngākau. Nō reira ka whakamaharatia rātou mua ki tonu atu e tātou, anei rā mātou e mihi nei kia koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. So welcome to this installment of Taringa, again brought to you by Te Wānau o Te Aroha, from the bustling metropolis of Te Awamutu, and a bit more of a solemn episode in that we are, this is our Anzac special, and that will be the whaukai or kaupapa that will guide our kōrero today. And I done a mihi to those of our tūpuna koroua who went overseas to both the World War I, World War II and other campaigns, because while Anzac was born out of Gallipoli, Anzac means more than that. But part of the focus that we'll be focusing on i roto i nei kōrero rero is about te hokowhitu atu and kōrero and Waiata that came out during both World War I and World War II. Nō reira, ko mātou tēnei mihi nei kia koutou e te iwi, nau mai, hoki mai. Tēnā koutou. Pewhia ana kōrua o tira kei konei aku hoa, tēnā koe te puaheiri.
Tēnā koe, o tira, tēnā koutou katoa te hunga e whakarongo mai nā puta no i tēnā o tātou whare, no reira mihi ana kia koutou i runga anō i tēnei kaupapa whakahirahira, i tēnei rā whakamaumahara ki a rātou. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora. Me koe tahi tūhene, kia ora Erika.
Kia ora. Pai te kite a kōrua, i runga i te hui topa. And good to be here to talk about to remember our Anzac soldiers and our Māori battalion, and hopefully learn some more treasures of truth.
Kia ora. Ka pai, nō reira, but before we launch into our kaupapa kōrero, ka hoki ki te Kīwaha.
Te Kīwaha!
Te Kīwaha.
Anei e te iwi te Kīwaha. Mo tēnei wiki, hea tātātou Kīwaha e homa?
Kei raro e putu ana.
Kei raro e putu ana.
E putu ana.
Ai, e putu ana.
E putu ana.
Ai, putu ana.
Yeah. I was watching this TV show the other day on Māori television, and I heard someone say it. They had just finished a competition between the people on the show, and the person who lost said that.
Yeah. About themselves.
Yeah, or about how they performed in that particular competition.
Yeah.
Or the results of their performance.
So they lost. So I took it to mean that they were on rock bottom.
Yeah. They didn't do well at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it depends on, i he nui ngā horopaki mo tēnei Kīwaha. So I might say to someone, how's work? How's pewhia ana koe te mahi? Pewhia ana te mahi? And they might answer, kei raro e putu ana. And in that context, it would mean, I'm just really swamped at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing too well, actually. There's another interpretation of that Kīwaha in that context.
Similar to e pokea ana au i te mahi?
Yeah, so that in that context, e pokea ana.
Yeah.
Yeah, e pokea ana i te mahi. would be very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Or, you could be talking about a team that's not doing so well in whatever. I don't know, I don't watch sports, but you know what I mean. And, did you see such and such? Oh, bro, kei raro rātou e putu ana.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they could be at the bottom of the table, useless, down and out, not doing too well.
Down and out, down and out.
Yeah. Some people say you could actually visualize it like e putu ana, like you've been kicked, but actually putu is he kupu Māori tuturu Tenei for more puke, to be heaped up.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it gives you more visual about what it means. So kei raro e putu ana, you're just heaped up.
Yeah.
You're down and out, or sometimes you've hit rock bottom, and you can use that kiwi. Oh, kei raro e putu ana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down to my last Ferrari. Kei raro e putu ana.
I rongo rā koutou i a Powhiritia e whakauru ana I te ahau, te au rānei. Nō reira ka taia te kupu tūpau te whakauru. Kei raro ahau e putu ana. So, oh man, I'm swamped, or I'm not doing too well. Rock bottom. Kei raro ia e putu ana. Kei raro koe e putu ana.
And you say rātou.
Oh man.
Yeah, kei raro tō tīma e putu ana.
Did you see my TikTok? I'm doing a TikTok competition. Oh, bro, kei raro TikTok e putu ana. Yeah, your TikToks are no good.
Your TikToks are, yeah.
Not up to scratch.
Kare he whiore. You got no followers.
Yeah.
Kare roto hiku.
So there you go, e te iwi, kei raro e putu ana.
Kei raro e putu ana.
Kei raro e putu ana. Mean.
O tēnā tātou e hoama, ka tahuri ki tā tātou kaupapa, and kia koutou ngai Taringa mā. If you recall, when we done our Waitangi special, sort of to change it up and give a bit of a different angle to Taringa, the three of us went away and came back with some pātai. And from those pātai, they created talking points for us and learning points. Ana I tau tētahi māramatanga ki runga ki tēnā o mātou, me te tūmanako I tau hoki ki runga ki a koutou. Ana I pērā no mātou I tēnei wā. So we're going to be talking about our pātai that we've come back with. And who wants to start the ball rolling? E homa?
Okay, I'm in.
Okay, so we're going to go boy, girl, boy then.
He determined the gender out. So yeah, mine was pretty easy because I think to provoke some kōrero amongst us or amongst you lot Ngāi Taringa is whether if you know or if you had any tupuna that went to World War I or World War II. So yeah, do you have any tupuna that went to, or do you know of any tupuna that went to World War I or World War II? Tupuna of yours?
Yeah, so don't mean to brag, but my koro and his brothers sort of set a record. There were 7 of them, and all 7 of them went to join the Māori battalion. So they went to World War II, and they all came back. So not only was it like a record that one whānau had 7 sons enlisted, but they also all returned.
Wow, That's more than the Ryan family.
I don't know who they are. So that's a pretty cool story for my whānau.
Wow, that's wicked. That's defying a lot of odds.
Yeah. The youngest brother, so my koro is Tāwhai Wainga, and his youngest brother, everyone sort of knew him down the coast as JK. He was actually too young to enlist. I think it was about 14 or something. But I'm not too sure on the exact age, but I know he was definitely underage to enlist. So he lied about his age just so he could go.
Wow.
His granddaughter said like that, I don't know, he didn't want to be left behind. So he gave a false date of birth to be accepted. And at the time, he thought it was going to be a good thing, like to go. It was an opportunity to get out of the coast. But he suffered quite a lot through the time of the war, and it had a big impact on him and no doubt my koro and the other brothers when they got back. You know, they weren't the same people anymore.
It definitely had a huge effect on also on all sorts of layers of Māoridom at that time. Leadership, So, you know, whānau, hapu, iwi,
Kia ora.
we're bereft of leaders. There would have been rangatira, respective rangatira, ne hapu, whānau, engari I haere ki tā wahi ka mate. And also a lot of our koroua tupuna that went overseas, so around the First World War, Second World War, some of our traditional whare wānanga were still functioning at those times. And I recall from out of Māori Marston's book, when he returned from, I think it was World War II, and he was trying to explain to his kaumātua the atom bomb and what it meant about taking the atom apart. And there's a really interesting kōrero in there. Anyway, a lot of our koroua that went over there, they went over there with all this knowledge, whakapapa, karakia Māori, you name it. And a lot of them, they didn't get the opportunity because they were young. They hadn't had children of their own yet.
Aye.
And they died over there. They weren't able, none of that knowledge got shared. So it had a huge effect on us. Te ao Māori got a whole strata o whakapaparanga, whakareanga rānei, whakatupuranga that went.
Yeah.
And then on the back of World War I, te pakanga nui, so that's interesting too. I te wai ngā tupuna, they refer to it as te pakanga nui o te ao.
Aye.
And when you hear tupuna, when you read old kōrero, they refer to it as te pakanga nui. And it was known as the Great War because they didn't know that at the time there was no World War II. They didn't know there was going to be another World War, so it was referred to as te pakanga nui. Our tupuna that came back from World War I brought back with them as well te rewharewa.
Aye,
Oh,
kia ora.
true.
So the Spanish flu returned with our not only Māori but all those that served overseas. They brought back with them the influenza, which is pertinent to, you know, what's happening now, what's happened with the mate uruta COVID-19, te mea. And then that was another blow ki te iwi Māori.
Yeah.
Nō reira aroha ana. And then, you know, 30 years later, or 1940, 1939, 20 years later was te pakanga tuarua. And, you know, you had, again, a lot of our tupuna that went overseas. And a lot of it was to prove ourselves,
Kia
Yeah.
ora.
Yeah.
you know. And nui aku whakaaro ki tēnei āhuatanga was to prove ourselves as New Tireni
Yeah.
or part of a collective.
British subjects. Yeah.
That was why Apirana Ngata supported it, was to sort of get Māori recognised as equals with the European settlers here in New Zealand.
Ana, tika.
Yeah, koena tētahi o nā, because the first, in answering your question, te puaheiri, I te me I kōtiti, engari kōtiti pai ngā kōrero.
Kōtiti pai, yeah.
On my nan's side, taku mōhio, I've got great-grand uncles that went to te pakanga tuarua, but more so in the pioneer battalion. So for the first
Kia ora.
World War, so I had three.
Yep.
My nan's father and his cousins, and a cousin and an uncle. Engari, kei te rangahau tonu au, my great-grandfather, he went to training, but I don't think he made it to Gallipoli. I'm not sure yet, and I've been reading up. And our trip to Turkey last year inspired me to do some research on that. But definitely my great-grand-uncle and another koroua, they went to Gallipoli. One served right up until 1919, and one came back in 1916.
Wow.
Nā te Māwiwi.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so when I tērā tau, when we visited Karipori, and Karipori, tā tātou kupu Māori mō Gallipoli is actually the whakahua I roto I te reo Kiriki, not Gallipoli.
Ah, yeah.
Gallipoli.
Yeah, not Gallipoli. So anyway, so it was quite moving for me I te wai haere maua. And I didn't, you know, initially I'll to be honest, I te wai haere maua, I te whakarite maua ki te haere ki Turkey last year.
Aye.
It wasn't on my list to go to Gallipoli at all, or Gallipoli. Engari, nā taku mōhio I tai aku koroua ki reira,
Aye.
I felt that wanted to go there, and it was really quite special. And the other thing too is when you visit these, and koutou whakarongo mai ana, you visit these mass graves, these hemetere, these urupa. And it wasn't until I went to the one in Kalipoli, and there's, I don't know how many, there's lots and lots of cemeteries there. There's not one. And they're strewed across the landscape.
Wow.
And you've got all these headstones. Engari, our tour guide, and man, he tangata morehu o Tenei. And he explained to us, he says, well, you know, most war cemeteries, there's no bodies underneath those headstones.
Tika.
They're commemorations to the people, so they know they fell there, but they don't actually know where they are, because the whole place is
true.
a battle site. The whole battle site is a cemetery.
Yeah.
And here te ki o rākau, you know, kei o rākau nei ngā tūpuna e takoto ana. We don't know where they are. And even before the Māori, Pākehā, ngā pakanga, ngā riri whenua, the New Zealand Wars,
Aye.
even the pakanga between our tūpuna, before Pākehā arrived, you know, a lot of the time they were left where they died, where they fell.
Oh, kia ora. Kia ora. Well, I have a great-grandfather.
Oh, yeah?
And he served in World War One.
Oh, cool.
Passed, and he lost his life in France. So he's buried over there in France. His name is Ivan Snowden.
Kia ora.
But it's, and he was he tangata whakatangi piukara.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a bugle boy or whatever they call it. And there's a whānau in Australia, I believe, that still holds that has that bugle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I have whanaunga in Aussie, and they're trying to find that family too, just so they can visit that bugle. But yeah, our great-grandfather, 3 times great. Yes, Ivan Snowden served in World War One. But it's funny, my immediate tupuna it's sort of like they just missed the window in serving, so they did home stuff, or home, what did they call that? Home defence?
Yeah.
Yeah. And my grandfather, he tried to enlist young, but he got caught.
No.
He
wasn't able to fake his age that well.
Nah, he got told to stay home. But of course we have tupuna, we have great tupuna. Of course, Praone talked of Māori Marsden, and here's another big tupuna throughout Ngāi Takoto, but also throughout the Hokianga that went, and a lot of other big names. And to add to that, it is true about, we look at the decline of Māori culture in the simplest ways, and that's what happened. You lost generations of knowledge, and when you lose generations, we all know that when there's a generational loss of language and knowledge, then the following generation suffers, and somewhat, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And then you look at post-World War with the industrialization of the world in the 1950s, and then Māori spread to the big cities, or the epicenters, to find work and stuff like that. So this is the impacts of starting from World War on to us now.
Yeah. I think we've talked about it on Taringa before, Praone, but I think I remember you saying that a lot of tikanga sort of had to change for a lot of the places around New Zealand. Like, for instance, women were the only ones left behind. So when it came to doing things at the marae, it was only the women there to do the pōwhiri, to speak.
Ana.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, we've had all these sort of tweaks, I guess, or adaptations to our tikanga recently due to te mate uruta. But if we look in our history, there's been lots of instances where we've had to think in a more open way about our tikanga, and during both wars was one. That's an example, definitely, and even their tangihanga practices then.
Yeah,
for listening to one of the Ngā Taonga episodes, and when the Māori Battalion te Hokowhitu Atu return, and one of the pōwhiri, many pōwhiri that happened right through te motu, all iwi had their own respective pōwhiri. But this particular one is at Tūranga Wāwai, and the karanga, it's chilling to the bone when you hear our tupuna crying and wailing.
Wow, yeah.
For these hoia that have returned. And they're crying, well, they've returned home and people have died while they've been gone. They all haven't returned, and they're bringing with them the mate. Kei te kawe mate rātou. They cry, the wailing goes on for some minutes. And it really is something you hear. It's not just the wahine, you can hear koroua crying.
Yeah.
And it goes on for some time. And the radio announcer or narrator refers to it as the great tangi.
Wow.
And this is the tangi part. I think I might have talked about it another time. Hui anō, koinei ngā ahuatanga o tērā wā, and that was them bringing their mate, so even though their comrades fell overseas, they brought their mate back to Aotearoa to be farewelled, how we do in karanga, in whai kōrero, in mōtetea, and then they were sent off to Hawaii.
Kia ora.
Kātahi ko te whakaroa tāhua tērā kua ki roto i a tātou tikanga.
Ana. Speaking of some sound clips, where we picked up one from Torua, Ngā Tauerua. And Praone, is this when they were in Pōneke? Did they come into Pōneke in this one?
Yep. I think this is the one of the mass porphyry they had in Pōneke, Te Whanganui Atara. And from there, they hopped on their trains or whatever transport, and they went back. And then they were porphyry amongst their own iwi.
Kia ora.
And just in my little bit of research I've done, I know that, I think Te Whanāpanui had a big one. Ngāti Porou had one. And then you'd go, and then they had other ones back at their sort of local marae.
Yeah.
So there were all these welcomings that happened to welcome them home. And this recording is from the one that happened in Wellington, that was attended by a lot of the rangatira and tohunga of that time.
Kia ora.
Te kai kōrero i nai anei, tātai whai kōrero, mō taranaki, ko taro a ngātou, ko te kawaora. Wai anei te kapui wai o tiakai o koutou tupuna, hei wate te tau mate, hena ia koutou kua tā mai nei, hara mai mga aitua. Ko te kawaora. Taki nā te kawaora te are, ke marua whaha, te mawhaka e kati a ki runga o hatu matakatak. Tanu mia te moana ka e whakatupuri, a kawaki aora. A kawaki aora ki a moa tā, whaki ka hukura, rangi tai hoari ki e. Angi matangi ta whakarua karui ai, runga karui ai, raro karui ai, te hau o taku manu nei. Kia koto i te ataka moa e apu, te mata o taku man. Kati te ro whakatohunga. I te tiro i te au, te manda o taku manu nei, ka hara koe māta puatea. Mahaere tu te rangi marere. Ka hukura i te hara tu mai ai te kahuirong. Korongo e hai. Taia te aurara te apiti o te rangi, taia te aurara te matoe o te rangi, taia te aurara te matota o te rangi. Ira mai runga tēnā te kawaka e kai e ki te uru orai. Ki runga e te kawa. Kawa e rangi nui, rangi roa, rangi tau, a tiki nui, tiki roa, tiki koi, a tiki weroia. Tiki tau pēa haki nere ho para tutu, puai ronga, puai tāne, puai tū, puai tangaroa, puai ru, puai oko. Puai tahu, puai ari, puai matuhari, ki tiki Hawaii, ki tāne ruanu. Ho hau tiki e te kawa. Tēnā te kawa i runga, te kawa i raro, te kawa tukia, te kawa taia, te kawa tungawi, te kawa mania, te kawa pai. Te kawa tuputupu nunui, te kawa tuputupu ahora, te kawa rau hui, te kawa rau mato, te kawa rau tāpat. Te kawa tēnā, te kawa ka e kai ki te uru orai. Ki runga e te kawa. Taia te aurara ko te arakau, he arakau tupua, he arakau tawi tapera hokira. Te tupua tini, te tupua mana, te mana ari ki te mana ara ki Tenei e katia ki tēnei torohang. Te torohanga e te kawa. Te torohanga ko ia tāne, tane te ahua, tane te apoa, tane te katoa, tane te karawa tānei, te whakauru matu te kawa. na ta wai pera hoki rā tiki o tonga whererei o tonga mārere o tonga te au whakamari ngā tā mata whare te wia I te kawa koko e meho putanga meho tauira I tauia.
Gather up close everybody.
Ka mau te wei.
Ka mau te wei. Ka mau pai te wei.
And he's one of many.
During that time.
Or that are at that pōwhiri and do similar karakia to take off the tapu involved with war.
Kia ora.
Which is killing people.
Aye.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
They came home, and as Erica said, they came back different people because they went to fight, and I don't say dress it down, but, you know, they went and they killed people.
Yeah. Tika.
And people and their friends were killed. Yeah, they're soldiers.
Yeah, and would have had to do things to,
Ana, and those karakia were to watch or take that tapu away, involved with blood.
Yeah.
And the loss of life through war. And also, and the other thing was to bring them back into the world of light.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
And that's quite freaky.
Yeah.
No, it's not freaky, but it's interesting and it's heartwarming and it's really I'm lost of words at the moment. But because I know of traditions and where our tupuna enlisted and they had to get permission from some of their elders. Two, once that happened, some of them went under the karakawhati, the karakawhati, which is the karakia for war, or the ceremony that warriors go under before they enter into war. And there were also ceremonies in the hokianga where they would go to their place of tohi, and some of them, by the way they dived in and came out of the water, they knew who was returning and who wasn't. So these are really, you're looking at mātauranga Māori merging or sitting in the landscape of European war. You know, the way that we addressed it. And so those, and as Prane said, that some whare wānanga were still in operation at the time. And these are probably some of the last accounts that we may know of these practices, te tohi karakawhati. So that's very interesting. And even in our Ngāti Hine episode, back in, I think it's episode 87, Peter Tipene, our guest speaker for Ngāti Hine, he talked about how in 1939, they have this big hui in Waihomio. And after the hui, they come out and they declare, Ngāpuhi declares war on Germany.
Oh, yeah.
So our iwi were doing that as well. But what I find interesting is the concept or the whakaro Māori or the mātauranga Māori that's gone into this. They didn't go, and they declared war on Germany before New Zealand did. So they were acting, he mahi, he whakatau tino rangatiratanga tēnei, he whakatauira nei te rangatiratanga o tēnā ngā iwi. They say we don't need to be told by our government, but we will decide when and where that things happen. So yeah, there's just some interesting points.
And of course, just like that instance, there were others who opposed it, like Te Puia.
Aye, the anti-conscription and the Waikato.
Yeah, because, she didn't see why they should fight for an empire that had confiscated, invaded and occupied their land. So didn't she kind of gather up all of the men who were of the conscription age and house them at Tūranga Waiwai or something? I'm not too sure. You'd probably know more than me.
Well, this is a good lead into my pātai.
Kia ora.
Do you know e mohi ana kōrua ki te ture pruma me te ture māpere? Have you heard of the ture pruma and the ture māpere?
Ka.
Ture pruma and ture māpere.
Pruma. Yeah.
Like a broom. No.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Really? And what was the other one?
Ture māpere.
Māpere.
So te...
don't know what that one could be. No, I haven't.
Māpere is marble.
Oh,
it's
marble.
the broom and marble law.
You've lost your marbles.
You lost your kei raro koe o māpere putu ana.
So the ture pruma was the law passed in 1916, which imposed conscription for the Great War on Pākehā, and then eventually the next year in June 1917, this was extended to Māori, but the target was Waikato.
Wow.
So that was known as Te Ture Puruma to Māori.
Yeah.
And the Ture Māpere, or the marble law, was the ballot.
The ballot, kia ora.
Oh, okay.
So you were given a number, and the number was written on a little wooden ball or marble, and it was put in a box and then turned around, sort of like bingo.
Yeah.
Howsy? And then the marble was pulled out, and if your number was on it, then you were conscripted.
Ooh, that's like the Hunger Games.
Yeah, and that was known as Te Ture Māpere.
Te Ture Māpere. Wow.
Yeah, and they called it the lottery of death.
Oh.
Yeah. And interestingly, in regards to Waikato and Maniapoto, as I said, my karaua signed up. They actually signed up. Well, yeah, actually I must have do some research on that, or to my knowledge, they actually signed up to go. King Te Rata was the king at the time. He never openly said, don't go, but he also didn't say go. And a lot of Waikato and Maniapoto and Tainui, I guess, didn't go because the king didn't say go.
Guy.
But what he did say was it's up to each individual if they want to go.
Kia ora.
Okay.
Yeah. It was actually his younger brother, Te Rau,
Aye.
Te Rawanganga. He was only 16 and not eligible for Te Māpere to be in the lottery of death. But a telegram was sent to him asking why he had not appeared to be conscripted, and yeah, that set off a whole chain of events. And from that period was born the Waiata, which is still sung in Waikato today, Ngā rā o hune kāra te pakanga.
Wow.
Ngā rā o hune kāra te pakanga ki roto Waikato kāriro ko te rau. Me tāna hoko whitu tūri atura te tatau o te whare o te hoariri. Now, it's a really, really kaupapa toimaha.
Aye.
Tērā Waiata.
Ahau ko te tangi.
But our people were masters at and it's something I've commended Rikirangi for some of his compositions for Te Whānau Apanui.
Yeah.
Their poi, going into Kapaka now, but their poi at Waiohika, back in Tūranganuiakiwa, was about the wars between Ngāti Porou and Te Whānau Apanui. But you wouldn't think that listening to the rangi of the song in the Waiata. And yeah, so our tupuna were masters of doing that, and it wasn't about looking at things through rose-tinted glasses or anything. It was a way of, I believe, that Waiata was a rongoa for us, and there's lots of Waiata that came out, you know, both in Te Pakanga Tuatai Tuarua, E Parira Ngā Tai Ki Te Akau, which is a favourite, Te Hoko Whitu Atu, Mai Tuini Ngā Wai, Hoki mai e tamama, you know, these all Waiata that we sing and rangatai today sing them as well because they're, you know, they're favourites. But a lot of our people don't know truly know the origins of those Waiata. Anyway, so that was Te Ture Puruma me Te Ture Māpere.
Wow.
And I think just to touch on that, Tom Roa, tēnā koe Tom, and Maihe Paki put together a good kōrero about Waikato and Maniapoto during that times. And I think that book is Mahea Te Tupua.
Yeah, Mahea Te Tupua. And that Kingi Te Rata, his brother, younger brother Te Rau or Te Rawanganga, is the grandfather to Nene Tahi. Oh, is that his grandfather or father? Which they done a documentary about. And
sure.
Nene Tahi was the wife of the late Mr. Mangu, who was instrumental in setting up O Tāwhao. And just in closing on this part, on my part, the good that came out of it was when Te Poia gathered the people, it was actually at Te Paina, or what we call Mercer.
Oh, yeah.
At that gathering, there was a karaua there from Taranaki, because a lot of Taranaki, because of Te Whiti and Te Tohu, and the movement there at Parihaka, and the association with Kingi Tāwhiao, whānau from Taranaki came up to join with Waikato. And while they were at Te Paina, and the constabulary or the police were coming, and this koroua referred to the fact that Tāwhiao had left the faith, and he was talking about Paimārire faith, that he had left that at the base of Taupiri, but he had said, ki te toimaha koutou e te iwi tīkina. So when you're feeling heavy, when the time comes when you're feeling heavy, go and get this karakia. And that was actually the resurgence of te whakapono Paimārire.
Kia ora.
And that's when te Paimārire resurfaced, that it hadn't been used since Tāwhiao buried it metaphorically at Taupiri.
True. Wow.
Ai, he rawe.
And we didn't end up going boy, girl, boy. Cause
I know.
But it's amazing how the direction that this kōrero has taken. Yeah, we were going to touch on Māori Battalion, but what I think we've done is we've touched on mātauranga Māori used to navigate our people through these times.
kia ora.
And I think just in this day and age and the tumultuous times that we're facing, there is a space for mātauranga Māori, or even examples of mātauranga Māori that can help us navigate these uncharted waters. Or perhaps these are charted waters, and we can look back to use that mātauranga Māori to help us navigate these paths now.
Kia ora. And even and while Erica gets ready to say her pātai, share her pātai with us, talking about mātauranga Māori, they used that mātauranga Māori, our tupuna used that as well.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
While they were overseas at these battles.
Definitely.
Tika.
Tūhoi, one of their kaitiaki is hikutaia.
Kia ora.
He taniwha, he moko. And there's a kōrero about this contingent of the battalion who had a lot of tūhoi in there. And they were going down one way and they saw this moko come out and they addressed it as hikutaia. And I think they may have been in Greece. I'm not sure. Engari, ki te rātau I tēnei moko, and it was a tau to them, and it was hikutaia. So they got off the path or where they were going, and then a much larger troop from the enemy side came around the corner. So this māramatanga, this mātauranga, they didn't leave it behind when they went over overseas.
No, it actually helped them.
Yeah.
Kia ora.
Kei a koe tuahine.
Ai.
Okay. Well, it's actually sort of related to what my pātai is going to be, but before I get there, I want to share something that I heard about the Pioneer War and the Māori contingent that helped in a place called Ypres. So in Ypres, there's a town there that they came under, fire, I guess, from whoever the enemy was. And they had a lot of Māori there just to kind of help them out. They weren't actually meant to be fighting, I don't think. But what ended up happening is they had so much mātauranga in trench warfare, from all our land wars and things, that they ended up implementing trench warfare over them and pretty much saved the whole town of Ypres from their enemy.
Kia ora.
So thought that was pretty cool. But so my pātai for this one is, do you know what the knife men are, or who the knife men were?
Kaore.
I think the knife men were they the people that I've heard the story and it takes different forms, but it's generally about sneaking a pig back for a Christmas feed.
No.
Was that the knife men? Okay, wrong story.
Tēnā kimi hoki.
Tēnā kimi, kei raro oku whakaro putana. Hoi no?
Āna.
No, but that was probably a cool story. But no, the knife men were referred to the Māori Battalion.
Wow.
And they earned this name in the Battle of Crete. So what happened was Crete was sort of being used as a segue point, I guess, for they evacuated lots of soldiers from all sorts of countries to Crete, and they were to wait there until they were being shipped off to Egypt. But what happened was it all changed because I'm not sure how they found out, but the largest attempted airborne attack came in on Crete.
Wow.
So it all changed, and all of a sudden they all had to basically defend Crete from the greatest airborne attack. And the Māori battalion gained a really good reputation there because of their skills with the bayonet.
Oh, kia ora.
So I found a quote. It was from a letter written by Private Westbrook of the 18th Auckland Battalion. And he says, the name Māori was almost a byword with the Tommies. Their continual bayonet charges and the havoc they caused among the Jerrys with cold steel earned them the name of the Knife Men. And I thought, like, this story is pretty resonates with me because a few years ago I was actually in Greece, and my friend and I were in this bar, and we got talking to the bar lady, and once she realised that we're from New Zealand and we're a Māori, she loved us after that. She was telling us about how...
Free drinks.
Yep, free drinks. she was telling us all about how her father served in the war from Greece. He was a Greek soldier. And he loved New Zealand and loved the Māori people because he fought alongside them, and he used to tell it all the time about how he wanted to come to New Zealand because what they did is they managed to hide their Greek soldiers and their, I think, Greek, did they have a king or something there?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they hid, the Māori battalion successfully hid their Greek king from the Germans and pretty much saved his life during that battle.
Kia ora.
So over there, I know down the coast at Whangaparawa, there's usually a group every year or 2 years that go over with the principal Tuihana Puk overseas, and they follow the Māori battalion footsteps around the different battle sites. And she said when they were there, the Greek people pretty much, they've just got such a big aroha for the Māori battalion. There's a very special bond, and she said they just went completely out of their way to be hospitable and to manaki them because of their tipuna.
Kia ora.
I just thought that was so cool.
Tēnā koe.
Right, that's cool.
So cool to have that legacy still going on today.
Yeah.
Just going back to your te kōrero mo te knife men, and you know, ko etai o ngā kōrero ko arango nā e au, I rau e ngā Māori ki te whawhai.
Ai.
Me ngā pēneti.
Yeah.
He rite ki te mau rākau.
Ai.
Hey, so, you know, I'm sure that having that knowledge, you know, a lot of them that we know we took it, they would have had knowledge of taiaha.
Ai.
And they would have been taught by their koroa. Some of those traditions would have still been taught.
And because I'm thinking of how far away generationally do you think they are from the Māori land wars? So, like, would they have been like 2-3 generations? So they were still intact with that type of, I don't know, survival, combatant type of lifestyle? Or
I don't know.
I don't want to say, I don't like the idea of warrior race. You know, I don't like that. I don't like using that idea. But they must have been still like 2-3 generations close to their tupuna having, well, tupuna kai tangata nei.
Well, if you look at World War I, 1916.
Kia ora, tiga.
So that's 80 years after the wars in Waikato.
Yeah.
Wow, that is true. Yeah,
And there were kaumātua at that hui at Te Paina who were alive. They were children during the land wars.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
The New Zealand wars.
So very close, very close.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably had a tipuna who had living memory of those times.
Yep.
It's really, I don't want to get away from our Anzac kaupapa, but I questioned why te ao Māori and Aotearoa, you know, they say that our nation was born out of the World War I and World War II. That's when we got a sense of nationhood, more so than Waitangi.
Ai.
You know, koe nei tētahi kōrero e wero nei o tātou whakaro. And when I started on the commemorations of our own battles here in Aotearoa, I continually questioned myself and I guess our society as to why we as Māori gravitate more to the commemoration of wars that happen overseas.
Kia ora.
And I came to the, my theory is we've got more of a connection because we've got visuals.
Yeah.
We've got photos of our tupuna that went to war and came back. They're closer to us. We've got newspaper clippings and things like that.
Or had the chance to meet one or two, yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that's taught in schools.
Yeah. Yep.
As well. Whereas if you look, all three of us here have a link to the New Zealand wars through our tupuna. Ia koe kōrero ana Erica about the whikoi that Te Whānau Apanui do overseas. It would be awesome if Te Whānau Apanui done one from Te Whānau Apanui through to Matata, where to the Battle of Kōrero.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they were vetoed by Te Raro and others from coming across to us, to Ōrākau.
Oh, wow.
True.
Yeah.
That's just a whakaro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely it's because of that connection we have visually, and our tupuna came back with those stories, and we've told stories that our parents or grandparents have told us. So there seems to be more of a connection.
Yeah.
And that's not taking anything away either. Ka reo e pirangi, e hare te mea whai anau ki te whakaiti. I ngā pāanga mai me te hirahira o te haerenga o tātou mātua tupuna. And even looking at Anzac, comes from Australia, New Zealand Army Corps. Nera.
Not the biscuit.
From Karipori. But now we use Anzac as a blanket term. And Anzac is a day where we recognise everybody that served, both men and women.
Kia ora.
Me kaua tātai wareware, there were other campaigns like Vietnam and East Timor.
East Timor, yeah.
All of our return servicemen are remembered. E mihi ana I te pai o te rere o ngā kōrero, me ngā whakaro.
Yep.
I want to go back to the Waiata that I referred to, a lot of the Waiata that came out of Te Pakanga Nui. And this is going to be our Waiata mo te wiki.
Kia ora.
And this is one of my favourites. Not as well known as it's sung profusely through Ngāti Porou, and I'm sure, Erica, you'd find your nannies and koro knows this one as well. Ngā Whare Pa, composed by Tā Apira Nangata in 1918. A welcome home to the survivors from the Great War, Te Pakanga Nui, battles of Karipori and France. Of the 2,200 Māori who went to war, 300 died and 700 were wounded. So anei te Waiata, Ngā Whare Pa, whakarongo mai.
Kani move that body.
Nō reira e te iwi, koe nā te Waiata o te wiki, e mihi ana kia koutou katoa. Engari, while we were doing sort of, we do a little bit of research before we jump on. Well, sometimes we do.
Yeah, sometimes.
Engari, te kōrero mātou, kia mātou anō e te iwi, we were talking amongst ourselves and thought that we'd do a whole episode tōna wā mō ngā Waiata that came out of that period. Yeah, we wouldn't do justice to it, so it deserves a full episode of Taringa. And we'll look at the reo, the kupu they used i roto i ngā Waiata, as well as the composers and the tunes. Nō reira, that's going to be our next episode. Ngā Waiata te pakanga. Hoi anō e te iwi, e mihi tonu ana mātai kia koutou. E hoa mā, do you have any last words before I wrap us up?
Tēnā koutou ngā whānau e whakamaumahara ana ki a rātou i haere tā wāhi. Kāre i hoki mai. Nō reira, e whakaaro nui ana kia koutou i tēnei wā, o tira kia rātou kua whakawhiti atu kei tua te ārai, rātou i mate mō tātou te hunga e noho nei e kōrero e whakarongo mai nei. Nō reira, mihi ana kia koutou, kei ware tātou.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Just remember them and be proud of who you are.
Tēnā koe tuahine o tira kōrua. Ana hei kupu whakamutinga māku, ko nā kupu whakamahara i a rātou, ara ko te aura of remembrance. E kore rātou e kau mātuatia. Pēnei i a tātou kua mahu e nei. E kore hoki rātou e ngoi kore. Aha koa pēwhea i ngā huatanga o te wā. I te heke ngātu o te rā, tainoa ki te aranga mai i te ata. Ka maumahara tonu, tātou ki a rātou. Ka maumahara tonu, tātou ki a rātou. Hei ko nā mai rā e te iwi.
Yo, whakarongo ki te tangihia te korimako, kōrero flowing out the hoka force, kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā ko nā whakapiri mai ki te, kaupapa tino whakahira, whakarongo pi kari mai, hare mai, o Taringa, hare mai, we gotta gather up close everybody, gather up close everybody. Kani move that body, kani move that body.
Taringa. He mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa, nā te māngai pāho I tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe. Taringa, whakarongo mai.